How often do you complain about the situation, but realize you've done nothing to make it better? Worse, you keep repeating the same mistakes and still try to figure out what's wrong. I know how it feels because I also do it. So what could be the reasons? Dear fellow citizens of the world, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Nick. I'm a career coach, and today we are trying to figure out why we tend to stick to something even though it's not working. We all experience the same kind of situations, this kind of process, but it's hard to figure out why we do it. This reflection comes from a quote from Henry Ford. If you do what you've always done, you keep getting what you've always gotten. This quote for me is so powerful. It crosses my mind almost daily because it's so easy to understand. Yet it's hard to see in our lives why we keep doing things like this and how we could change. So why should you care? First, if you're not happy with what you have, it's time for you to question the causes and change the course of action. Second, you don't want to have any regrets down the road. So maybe in the future, you don't have the same physical ability, mental ability. You won't have the same time that you have right now. So now is really the time to take action and start making changes in your life, and hence understanding what the causes are. And third, if you feel like happiness and fulfillment come from developing yourself, improving yourself, then you have no choice. You have to embrace this quote. So I found 3 reasons why we keep doing the same thing over and over again, and we keep getting the same results. First, we have a tendency to stick to old habits. We always grew up in a different environment. We grew up in a different culture. We develop habits coming from family, friends, schools, and this is part of us as of now. So it's hard for us to question why these habits are wrong and why we should modify, update them, or just get rid of them altogether. For example, we do things naturally. We work in a certain way because we've learned how to do it this way. And therefore, if somebody asks you to change it, it's very hard because you believe what you're doing is actually right. Now, for example, your habit is to procrastinate. You've managed to navigate through college with procrastinations. You believe that writing an essay or your term paper the night before is the way to go because you get more inspiration, you get the rush of adrenaline. But when you go to work and you start managing a team or working with other people, it is very hard to continue doing this. Now, you've been doing it for quite some time, so it's an old habit and it's hard to break. Yet, if you keep doing this, you're going to keep getting the same results, which is getting more stress, riding the emotional roller coaster of emotion before the deadline, and you're not going to be productive. And on top of that, people are not going to really enjoy this side of yours. So you need to change at this point to get different results, because if you keep doing the same, you keep getting lousy results with the team. The solution, again, you have to learn new techniques, you have to learn new approaches, and again, experiment and see what works and what doesn't work for you. For example, for me, even though I train and coach people and I'm fully aware of personal development and self-improvement, of course, it's hard for me to break from old habits as well. And as an introvert, for example, it's hard for me to network and connect with people that I don't know. And I need to do this though, because for my business, it's very important. But again, if I stick to old habits, I'll get the same results, which is, oh, I pretty much shut down sometimes in networking events, and therefore I don't connect and I don't get new opportunities. So I've realized that I need to change this aspect. So now I try to join more online groups, communities, and try to reach out more spontaneously and try to connect with people. And this brings different results. And I'm doing it right now on YouTube, trying to share my ideas and thoughts with you guys. The second reason why it's hard to change is it's hard to see what's happening when you're inside of a situation. So imagine you live with someone, your spouse, your family members, or your friends, roommates. It's hard to see whether or not they are getting older, they're looking younger, or they're putting on some weight, losing weight, because you see them every day. But if another friend comes around and look at your friend and say, oh, wow, you look much younger than before, or you've put on some weight, then it's easier for him or her to see because they've been outside of the situation. They're not caught in the routine. They're not caught in this bubble. So in this situation, we have a tendency to stick to old habits just because we don't see from outside what's happening. And this is the time when you need somebody who can give you powerful insights on how to modify the course of action For example, you have a tendency to go to sleep late, and every night you push your sleeping time by 10 minutes, 10 minutes. You end up going to sleep very late every night. And every morning, you're so tired, you wake up 10 minutes before work. And this, if you don't see it from outside, is tricky because you keep sliding down the slope and you don't even realize you're doing it because it's 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. By the way, if you want to know more about how to implement a powerful morning routine, please check out my previous video about morning routine, and maybe you'll get good tips from this. Now, the last point is persistence versus foolishness. When do you know you have to stop versus continuing? And how much should you pursue a goal until you realize it's not working, but it doesn't mean you are giving up? So persistent versus foolishness is how much and how far should I go trying to pursue this goal? And I don't know if you've seen this picture, this drawing about two miners. They try to get to this diamond stash, and one of them is about to give up. The other one keeps working on it because he doesn't know how far or how close he is from the ultimate goal. So it's hard to differentiate between being resilient versus being stubborn. So there's a tipping point that tells you, like, if you keep doing the same things over and over again and it's not working, then you should realize it's time for you to change. Therefore, it's not giving up, but it's not being foolish. Now it's time for you to take action. Write down 3 things that you've been doing and you're not happy with in your life right now. Reverse engineer the process, meaning go back in time and see each step that led you to this result. Write down the process and see what you've been doing over and over again. Try to see the points that you could modify or update a bit. Don't try to change too much at once because you don't want to traumatize yourself in the process, but try to tweak one little thing and see where that takes you. Write down the changes, write down the results, try out an experiment for about 2 weeks and see what happens. Feel free to drop a comment below to share the results. Or if you don't want to do it publicly, send me a message on LinkedIn and tell me what was blocking you, how did you update the process, and what kind of results you got. Thanks a lot for watching, and remember, experience, experiment, make the journey count. See you on the next video.